The northeastern United States occupies a narrow stretch of land between the Atlantic Ocean and the Appalachian Mountains. It includes some of the oldest cities in the country, dense coastal settlements, historic ports, and landscapes shaped by rivers, forests, and rocky shorelines. From Washington, D.C. in the south to the forests of northern New England, this region has long functioned as one of the cultural and political centers of the United States. Geographically, the Northeast sits where early European settlements first took hold. Major rivers flow toward the Atlantic, natural harbors support large cities, and rail and highway corridors connect urban areas that developed over centuries. What emerges is a compact region where large metropolitan centers, colonial towns, mountain ranges, and coastal villages often lie only a few hours apart. Because of this density, travel in the Northeast often moves quickly between very different environments. A political capital stands within reach of historic colonial streets. Financial districts rise near harbor fronts that once handled transatlantic trade. Just a few hours away, mountain valleys and quiet fishing towns offer a completely different rhythm. Several destinations define the travel map of this region. Washington, D.C. anchors the southern end with its monuments, museums, and federal institutions. Philadelphia reflects the early political history of the United States and preserves some of the country's most recognizable historic landmarks. Farther north, New York City stands as one of the world's largest urban centers, while Boston offers a mix of colonial history, academic institutions, and waterfront districts that connect past and present. Along the coast of Maine, Portland represents a smaller maritime city shaped by fishing traditions and Atlantic weather. And near the northern edge of the region, the Niagara River suddenly drops over one of the most powerful waterfalls on the continent, drawing visitors from around the world. Together, these places form a travel corridor where history, urban life, and natural landscapes intersect within a relatively small geographic area. To understand how these locations shape tourism in the Northeast, each one deserves a closer look. The journey begins in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. Washington, D.C. sits along the Potomac River and serves as the center of the country's federal government. Unlike most American cities, it was planned specifically to function as a national capital, with wide avenues, ceremonial spaces, and monumental buildings designed to reflect political authority. Today, the city combines government institutions, historic landmarks, and large public parks that draw visitors from across the world. One of the most recognizable landmarks here is the Lincoln Memorial. Positioned at the western end of the National Mall, the structure resembles a classical Greek temple and honors President Abraham Lincoln. Inside, a large seated statue of Lincoln faces the reflecting pool, while inscriptions of his speeches line the walls, connecting the monument to pivotal moments in American history. A short distance away stands the United States Capitol. This building is the meeting place of the U.S. Congress and one of the most recognizable symbols of American democracy. Its large white dome dominates the skyline of the National Mall, and the surrounding grounds often host public gatherings, ceremonies, and national events. Nearby, the White House serves as the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States. Located along Pennsylvania Avenue, the building has been at the center of American political life for more than 2 centuries. Although the interior is rarely accessible to the public, the exterior remains one of the most photographed landmarks in the country. Moving north from Washington, another city appears where many of the foundations of the United States were first written into history. Philadelphia played a central role during the American Revolution and the early formation of the nation. In the late 18th century, it served as a political gathering place where delegates debated independence and shaped the framework of the new country. Many of these historic locations remain preserved in the city today. Independence Hall is the most significant of these sites. It was inside this red brick building that the Declaration of Independence was debated and adopted, and later, where the United States Constitution was drafted. The surrounding historic district preserves streets and buildings that reflect the atmosphere of the colonial era. Not far away stands the Philadelphia Museum of Art, known not only for its extensive art collections but also for the long staircase leading to its entrance. The steps gained worldwide recognition through popular culture, and today visitors frequently recreate the famous run up the staircase while overlooking the city skyline. Another important symbol of American independence is the Liberty Bell. Cast in the 18th century, the bell became associated with the ideals of freedom and independence, and today it remains one of the most recognizable historical artifacts in the United States. After Philadelphia, the route leads to one of the largest and most energetic cities in the United States, New York City. Located where the Hudson River meets the Atlantic Ocean, New York City developed into one of the world's most influential urban centers. The city is built around a series of islands and boroughs connected by bridges, tunnels, and ferries. Finance, media, art, and international trade all converge here, creating a skyline and cultural landscape recognized across the globe. One of the most famous landmarks in New York Harbor is the Statue of Liberty. Standing on Liberty Island, the statue was a gift from France in the 19th century, and quickly became a symbol associated with freedom and immigration. For millions of newcomers arriving by ship in the past, it was often the first sight of the United States. In the center of Manhattan lies Central Park, a large green space designed in the 19th century to provide relief from the dense city grid. Paths, lakes, bridges, and open lawns stretch across the park, creating a contrast to the surrounding skyscrapers. Today, it functions as both a recreational space and one of the most visited urban parks in the world. Times Square represents another side of the city's identity. Located at the intersection of Broadway and 7th Avenue, the area is known for its bright digital billboards, theaters, and constant movement of people. It has long served as a focal point of entertainment and tourism in Manhattan. As the journey continues north from New York, another historic city appears, one that ranks among the oldest in the United States. Boston developed as a major colonial settlement long before the country gained independence. Its harbor supported trade, shipbuilding, and early industry, while many events connected to the American Revolution unfolded here. Today, the city blends historic districts with universities, cultural institutions, and a modern waterfront. Boston Common is the oldest public park in the United States. Established in the 17th century, the park originally served as shared grazing land before evolving into a central gathering place. Today, it forms the starting point for many visitors exploring the historic core of the city. Fenway Park reflects another part of Boston's identity. Opened in the early 20th century, it is one of the oldest baseball stadiums still in use in Major League Baseball. The stadium remains closely tied to the history of the Boston Red Sox, and continues to host games in a setting that has changed little over the decades. The Freedom Trail connects many of Boston's most significant historical sites. Marked by a red line that runs through the streets, the route links churches, meeting houses, burial grounds, and public buildings connected to the early years of American independence. Just across the Charles River lies Harvard University, one of the oldest universities in the United States. Founded in the 17th century, the institution has played a major role in American education and research, and its historic campus remains a major landmark in the region. Nearby, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, often known as MIT, focuses heavily on science, engineering, and technological innovation. Its campus along the Charles River has produced influential research and graduates who have shaped industries ranging from computing to aerospace. After Boston, the cities begin to grow smaller, and nature gradually becomes more dominant. Along the New England coastline lies Portland, Maine, a maritime city shaped by fishing traditions and Atlantic weather. Its working harbor remains active with fishing boats and ferries, while historic brick buildings line the waterfront streets. Just outside the city, rocky shores and historic lighthouses such as Portland Head Light overlook the Atlantic, creating the classic coastal scenery often associated with northern New England. A little farther north from Portland, one of the most striking national parks along the Atlantic coast begins. Acadia National Park spreads across Mount Desert Island and nearby coastal areas, where forested hills rise directly from the ocean. Granite peaks, winding scenic roads, and hiking trails lead to viewpoints over the Atlantic, while Cadillac Mountain stands as one of the park's most recognizable landmarks. Yet, the natural landscapes of the Northeast are not limited to the coastline. In New Hampshire, the White Mountains form one of the region's most dramatic mountain ranges. Part of the Appalachian system, the area is known for steep ridges, dense forests, and rapidly changing weather, with Mount Washington rising as the highest peak in the northeastern United States. West of the White Mountains, some of New England's most characteristic landscapes begin to appear. Vermont is known for its rolling hills, forested valleys, and small towns that preserve a quiet, rural atmosphere. Wooden covered bridges, historic village centers, and winding country roads shape much of the scenery. In autumn, large sections of the state turn shades of red, orange, and gold as the forests change color, drawing visitors who travel through the region to experience one of North America's most recognizable seasonal landscapes. But the natural highlights of the Northeast do not end there. Farther west, along the border between the United States and Canada, the Niagara River suddenly drops over one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world. Niagara Falls has been attracting travelers for generations, drawn by the sheer volume of water rushing over the cliffs and the constant mist rising from the gorge below. Observation points, walking paths, and boat tours bring visitors close to the base of the falls, offering a direct view of one of the most famous natural landmarks in North America. Together, these places reveal how varied the northeastern United States can be. Large global cities stand within reach of historic towns, coastal landscapes, mountain ranges, and powerful natural landmarks. Within relatively short travel distances, the region offers a combination of political centers, colonial history, maritime culture, and dramatic scenery. For travelers, this means the Northeast can be explored in many different ways. Some follow the historic cities along the Atlantic coast, while others move inland toward mountain roads, national parks, and river valleys. In many cases, a single journey connects both experiences. If you enjoyed this exploration of the Northeastern United States, consider leaving a like, sharing your thoughts in the comments, and subscribing to Wanderway for more travel documentaries from around the world.